That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Let's go ahead and move on to the trade for this week, which is Green Lantern, the Sinestro Corps War, Volume 2. This is so unbelievably good. It just opens epically with Mogo versus Ranks. That's awesome. And they're like yelling at each other. Like every page of this is just so freaking cool. Like every single page is a goddamn splash page almost. How can you not love that? Man, this is good. This is just fantastic. I love this. Sinestro Corps War is almost perfect. Almost. There's one really weird I can't believe I'm talking about structure so much this week. There's one really weird structure issue. Again, just beautiful, beautiful splash pages. Beautiful. There's a weird structure issue later on. There's this, in the story, Kyle Rayner gets possessed by Parallax. And he keeps thinking about a painting that he had as a kid. His mom just died. All this stuff going on in the story. Keeps thinking about a painting that he had as a child in his mom's house, and how he just I'm sorry, it's distracting how beautiful everything is. He is thinking about a painting that he had as a child in his mother's home, and it's the only thing he's able to hold on to keep himself from, becoming Parallax again. And I skipped it. Damn it. Must have happened before all the ion stuff. Sorry, I'm just looking for the page. No, that's the ion fight. Anyway, when Hal and John and Guy get to Earth, they send Guy off on a mission to go get the painting to give Kyle something to grab onto so that he doesn't have to like give in to fear and be manipulated by Parallax. And so in one issue, we have, there we go. There it is. Sorry, beautiful splash pages keep getting me. In one issue, Guy Gardner shows up to the Parallax fight with the painting. Or no, one issue he gets interrupted while trying to go get the painting and has to fight, and then he leaves at the end of that issue. Or he leaves shortly after that point to go get the painting. And then he shows up with it, and then the next issue is the Green Lantern Corps issue that intercut with the issue of Guy going to get the painting, and it's Guy Gardner getting stopped and having to go get the painting again. So it's just this weird structure thing where, again, if everything's written for trade, then we need to be willing to edit trades. We need to be willing to edit the order in which sequence issues happen or intercut issues page by page to make them function better as a whole. And like that's a major structure issue, but this is an even bigger one in that every single issue of the main Green Lantern title opens with Hal Jordan saying, "My name is Hal Jordan. I'm the Green Lantern of Sector 2814. My name is Hal Jordan. I'm an officer in the Green Lantern Corps of Space Sector 2814. And then going into catch up on all the other stuff. But we're reading it in trade. We don't need that. That being said, those are my only issues with this. This arc is damn near perfect in every other way. I don't really want to talk about like all the things that happen in the arc. I love the stuff with Sodom Yacht and Superboy Prime, and say whatever you will about Superboy Prime. He's fun in this at least. But I love all the stuff we get. The Blackest Night is started to set up in this issue. I've heard this doesn't read very well in Omnibus because of all the splash pages. Here's our first preview of Atrocitus. And like, I'm really impressed by how much they planned out about the other emotional spectrums by this point. Because if you get real close, obviously there's Atrocitus. But then there's the Orange Lanterns. And they're already being shown to be constructs and not actual members of their own independent core. And then you have the Compassion Indigo tribe, and they're actually shown to be a tribe. They're not like an interchangeable core. And then over here you have the Zamorans, you know, trying to encircle and protect everyone. And then you get really, really sparse bits of the Blue Lantern Corps because they're certainly the smallest of the cores. Even an early design of St. Walker there, too. Just really neat how far in advance they planned. Like, not only John's playing the story, but everything about the story was planned. All the little details were planned really far in advance. Some fantastic artwork in this. I love some of these splash pages. They do some beautiful, beautiful stuff in here. Oh my God, it's just, I just want to show you all the awesome stuff. There's the Guardians making their anal beads again. The one really, really cool moment about this that I love to death is Sinestro uses the Manhunter's ability to drain power rings and drains the Hal and Kyle's ring. So they're down to 0. And then later on, Hal and Kyle are running. They're trying their best to get away or get to their batteries in time. And Hal rips the head off of a Manhunter or uses the ripped off head of a Manhunter to drain Sinestro's ring. And it's just this great, great moment where Sinestro's like mocking him. Recharging your ring on a Manhunter power skull, Jordan. You don't have time to recite that hypocritical oath. I'm not recharging, Sinestro. I'm putting us on an even playing field. And then he drains Sinestro's ring, and Sinestro lands. And he's like, come on then, the both of you. It's just Hal and Kyle tackling Sinestro, and it's just this fucking bare-knuckle brawl between them. Oh my God, it's so fucking... It's just so primal. I love it. Just beating the shit out of each other with anything they can find and yelling and screaming the whole way. Oh, man. That's such a cool moment. And then they're able to defeat Sinestro, and the day is saved, as it were. Triumphant Green Lanterns. But all out of everything that happens in the Sinestro Corps War, and we get the setup for Blackest Night, which this is how you set up Blackest Night, by the way. My biggest problem with Blackest Night, and we'll get to it, is it ends without truly ending. It just sets up the next story, and that begins to be John's biggest problem. The Sinestro Corps War has a definitive ending, and it lets itself set up other things. It seeds other things throughout it, but its ending is not overshadowed by the beginning of the next story. That's why I think the Sinestro Corps War is perfect. Johns did know how to end a story, but he lost that somewhere along the way. So then we're setting up for Blackest Night, and that's all well and good. My favorite issue of this is actually the last issue. And this one was written by Tomasi. I'll give him credit. Tomasi, Gibbons, those guys. I'm not a big Guy Gardner fan, and Tomasi's the one using Gardner more than anyone else, but the writers on the Green Lantern Corps book really were kicking some ass along with Johns. I don't want to give Johns all the credit. He certainly deserves a lot. The Corps writers were kicking ass, guys. So in this issue, it's just this really, really somber thing. It starts out with Salat creating or reprogramming rings to go find new users. And it's like 12 lantern rings forged of 442, awaiting mission directive. Proceed to Mogo for lantern encryption signature. And as the rings fly off, you just get this lowly panel of Salak. He's like all down in the frame and everything. And it looks really, really pathetic in like a sad way. And it's like too many of us this time. Far too many. It's just this really somber, like you feel the sense of brotherhood and camaraderie, which is something that's lacking from a lot of Green Lantern things. I really do not like it when things don't use the core. It's my biggest problem with the movie, which I will defend more than most people. But it still doesn't use the Green Lantern core enough. So we just get these little, basically check-ins with the main characters of the Green Lantern Corps book. We got Vath, who's sitting in a bar and making constructs of the fallen lanterns, saying their name, then taking a drink. And there's this woman with him who's like, why? Who's going to hear you? Everybody, nobody. Quan. You're making no sense. I'm not asking you to understand it. It's something I want to do. It's something I have to do. Jack Chance. How many more are left? Nasalag. 432. That's really, really like impactful stuff. You feel the somberness. You feel that people were lost, even though a lot of it's just faceless numbers. Like during the fighting, it's just, ring status report, Green Lantern 42 deceased, space sector scan 42 initiated for replacement. There's not a lot of sense of loss in the moment, except that you feel the impact of it after the fact, which I really, really like. And then you get that paralleled really, really great on, corresponding pages with Ismat Cole. He goes from diving toward his planet in space to just diving straight into the ocean and then coming up to float up. And he's like pointing up at the sky. Is like, I'm still here. You hear me, Sinestro car? I'm still here. I really like that. You get that sense of victory after a battle, paralleled with that somberness of the fallen. I really, really like how that plays. That's damn good writing, and it works perfectly the way this parallels on the page. All the stuff with Sora Natu, with Kilowog, and then this really great moment with Guy and Kyle. In brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape our sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware our power, liberty's light, as they fix the Statue of Liberty, which was damaged. That's really, really cool. I really like this book. There's so many great, great moments. You have Guy and Kyle just talking about their experiences. It's really great stuff. Yeah, Sinestro Corps War is a fantastic series, and I really love it. Though we're not quite done yet, believe it or not. We're done with the main two arcs, but there is an additional trade that came out as part of the stuff that was going on in Sinestro Corps War, and that is Tales of the Sinestro Corps, which we'll be talking about next week. So that will do it for this week's episode of Comic Reviews. Let's see what people are saying. it's not bad that your knowledge. Nero Cole is asking, is it bad that my only knowledge of Green Lantern is that really mediocre movie? No. If you want a really, really good Green Lantern movie to check out that gives you a lot of knowledge on the core and the character, go pick up Green Lantern Emerald Knights. It is hands down one of my favorite things with Green Lantern on the title. Green Lantern Emerald Knights and Green Lantern the Animated Series. You will not regret those decisions. Or that. So, any of those options work perfectly.
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.